Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. Woo! Whoa! So, yeah, Starlight just did a 360 on all of you. This is so beautiful. You know, I miss these places. I have never been to this place, but out where I am, lots of beautiful hiking places out here. So, Starlight is going to start taking some of those. So anyway, welcome, 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 all of you beautiful souls to my YouTube channel, and that is on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you for being here and loving, supporting Starlight. Thank you for all of you who have subscribe to my YouTube channel or you watch my videos. Thank you. I appreciate you. And those of you who give Starlight a thumbs up, ding. And those of you who you left me a message on my YouTube channel. You are such a brave soul. Thank you for doing that. And those of you who share my videos, thank you. I appreciate all of you. And also, if you want to reach out to Starlight, you can through my Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. And also, I got to kind of get moving because mosquitoes get hungry out here when you're not moving. They're like, Starlight, move or we'll eat you. So also, if you want to send love donations to Starlight, you can through my Cash App, and I will have the information here. Ping! There it is. Now, I'm actually heading out of here, and today it's about, is that we are stronger together. And, it's a sad thing. I talked to somebody today and I said, what we really need to do, and I said this months and months ago when I was somewhere else, is that we really need to get people, like wherever you are, whatever state you are. And I don't know, not everybody on my YouTube channel is from United States, but wherever you are, we really need to get more connected to the community wherever you live. And it's so important because we really can do a lot of changes in the world right now to prepare for the future of the children. And, a lot of people, they are, so focused on themselves that they're not thinking about anybody else, or not even thinking about, reaching out to other people out in the community. And I'm not saying everybody is like that, because there's a whole lot of other people out there that are lonely. They are alone, and they want to connect out with the community. So we really, this video is to inspire, if you got something to offer the community wherever you live, is, people really need positivity in their community, and also, kind of helping people to get prepared for the things to come. And I tell you what, talk about waking up and getting downloads. That's exactly what happened to Starlight this morning. Man, bam! Starlight started her morning off in a positive note, doing a whole bunch of, because of this 8-8 portal that started yesterday. It opened up yesterday, and it's such a really powerful time right now, the 8-8 Lionsgate portal. And this, you really need to be positive, about everything in your life right now. Like all the time, it's so important, but a lot of people, they lack that. They don't have positivity. And, like there's people that, a lot of people are wearing a mask, and they will claim that they're positive. But then when you spend enough time with them, and hear them talk and what they got to say, you find out, they say that they're positive, but, then you witness different things about them, realizing they're not that positive. And we can get a lot of negative thoughts throughout the day, and we get more negative thoughts than we do positive. So that, but there's people, they won't admit to that stuff. There's people out there, they think that that's baby steps, like being positive. Like they feel like they outgrown that already, but they are not really being honest with themselves as far as, are they really positive or are they just acting like they're positive? So that's why I do the I am affirmations every day, and it's so powerful, and it's changed my life for the better. And mosquitoes are out here. But we really do. We really need to communicate, reach out to the community. And if you got something to offer your community, like positivity or even helping people, because this will help them later on through the hard times that we're going to be facing. Now, when I say the hard times that we're going to be facing, now, if you are a person that is already in the fifth dimension, you're not going to have a hard time. But if you're always, Starlight's got to stop here because I wanted to make a video over here. But if you're a person that's always, living in the fear mode all the time, being afraid to do this and afraid to do that, you are going to really have a hard time, a very hard time. If you're not living for God, you're going to have a hard time. If you're not working on yourself, you're going to really have a hard time. If God has been talking to you and saying you need to get out of that unhealthy relationship and you're still in it, and then, stuff keeps on happening, and God or the universe is saying, how much are you going to put up with this? But, you're too comfortable. You got relaxed, you're in your comfort zone. And there's a lot of people that do that. They are in their comfort zone. Sometimes they're, and this, I know people right now, it's really sad is that, there's people out there that I know that they don't want to leave that person, even though that they know they're not good for them. And because they got comfortable. Then there's people that don't want people to leave them because they spoil them rotten. So they spoil them rotten. Like now, guess what? Every day they don't even have to cook for themselves because they have somebody doing that for them. Even though that person doesn't want nothing to do with them in a relationship, they're just friends, is that they don't want them to leave them because they need them. They don't have to cook every day. They will serve them hand and foot. Bring them food, cook food for them, bring it to their house, and now they're like, wow, I like having you around because you know what? I'm not completely alone by myself. You're here. You're not that far away, and you really got to be careful because there's people out there that you might want to leave, but they don't want you to leave because you spoiled them rotten. You made their life so easy. And so we really do. There's times that, if you're letting these people control you and you're not getting out of the situation that you're in, you're going to have a hard time later on because you're in a fear zone. You're afraid to leave that person, and you rather put up with being miserable and not being happy and not going for your dreams or not being free like you want to be, and that is, I do know people right now where, and I can't get my ass in the middle of it. It's something that they got to work through. I'm not going to get myself in the middle of some kind of mess, a mess. I got my own life to live. It's, they got themselves in that situation and they got to get themselves out, and it's hard when you love people and you see what's going on, but they don't see it. And it's none of my business to get my nose in it either. So there are people out there that have trapped other people into their circle because they spoil them. They cook for them. They go to the store for them. They don't have to do shit anymore because that person is doing everything for them. And the person that's doing everything for them doesn't even want to be there. But they're in a trap and they don't even see it. So if you're one of those people that you're afraid to leave somebody, even though they're toxic, even though that they're not good, maybe you're even working for a company and, the company's corrupt. You see the bullshit. You say you're a Christian, but you don't do shit about it. You don't speak up about it. You just sit there every week and get a paycheck every freaking week for working for a company that is corrupt. You know that the company could do great changes, but they're afraid that they would lose money if they did those positive changes that would really help out their patients. So there's a lot of stuff going on out in the world, that people will work for corrupt companies and they could actually start their own business. They could start their own business doing the same thing that they love doing and be free from a company that is corrupt. But no, they're afraid of stepping out on their own. They're afraid of leaving relationships that they're not happy. They're being controlled. And they see it. They could do a lot of great, wonderful things helping people out, but they're afraid to leave. If you're living a life of fear all the time, you are in a trap. But you don't have to stay in that trap. You are the only one that can free yourself. And a lot of people, they're afraid to leave that person. They're afraid to be alone. They're afraid to start all over because they money a lot of times, they get trapped by the money trap because they're like, well, I got to go to work every week. Where am I going to have time to get out of this situation because I don't have time? I got to go to work. But they got lots of money. They got lots of money. They could take time off of work and pack up their shit and get out and live by themselves. But they don't want to. They don't want to be alone with themselves. So instead, they will stay in that trap. And that, I'll tell you what, those people that are not listening when God says, hey, you need to get out of that relationship, and you just refuse to get out of that relationship knowing that it's not bringing you happiness, because they're the ones that are pulling you back from everything that you could possibly be. And Starlight, I'll tell you what, I learned that lesson a long time ago. I refuse to be in a relationship that is going to stress me out and make me miserable. I'd rather be single and happy, and enjoy my own company than to be in a relationship that it's toxic, controlling, or any of that. So if you're one of those people that you're around the wrong kind of people and you know it, and you don't want to make those changes because you're afraid, you're going to have a hard time with the things that are going to be coming. And right now, if you can help out in your community by reaching out, and helping others to build up positivity, or help people to be grateful for the things they have, or, help people to face their fears. I made a video a long time ago. I faced my fear, and, I'll tell you what, I was dealing with a lot of fear in one day, and I nailed it all. I was going to not dive, but jump off a spot where I never been. It was a blue hole out in Mexico, and it was such a beautiful place to go. And I had a fear of jumping down in the water, being high up. And so I was dealing with a lot of things that day. I was in a bikini at my age. Lots of people were there. It was such beautiful energy, though. And having somebody record me, I never had anybody record me. I said, hey, could you possibly help me out? I want to jump down, and this is what I want you to do. And she was such a sweetheart. And the energy at this place, I would love to go there again, but that blue hole was freezing. So I'm glad that I actually felt the water and got my body temperature used to it before I jumped in there. So I was facing a lot of fears, and that's what we need to do. That's how you're going to make it through this life is, facing your fears, because those people that you're afraid to leave, they're holding you back. And they're going to hold you back. And when shit comes, you're screwed because you never made the move when you could have made the move. Now is the time to free yourself. But right now is a great time to get connected to the community and, start something out in your community. Start a service, out in the community. You want to see a change in the world? By starting something out in the community to help other people, to make these shifts, like being positive, being grateful, letting go of fear, helping them to face their fears and inspiring them to face their fears. You could really help a lot of people in so many ways. And, we all need each other, and together we are stronger. And I actually just told somebody something today. And, here I'm coming up with some great freaking things to do. And although I've been working on things in this area, I just have a little thing that I got. Once I get through this week, everything should be all set. But, you could tell somebody something positive, and they want to kill your dream. They want to kill it, you know? And that's why my mentor says, don't tell people what you're doing, just do it, you know? Because there's people out there that you want to do something, you believe in something, and they, you know, it's almost like the plans are on a piece of paper and you wrote it all out and they just crinkled it up and threw it in the garbage. But no, I believe in what I said. And so you got to believe in what you're doing. And, you know, we really need to get communities more in touch with each other, even the homeless people, to get them involved and do something to reach out to the homeless people. I'm hearing these noises. See, out here, there would be bears out here. So Starlight's just listening to the noise. It's kind of breezy out here. But so we really do need to reach out to the community and be a light to those out in your community, your family, you know, and it's best, you know, Starlight has flunked at this, but so take it from somebody that did things that I wasn't supposed to do by telling people what you want to do, because there's people out there that they want to destroy dreams. They don't believe in themselves to make any of those things happen. But if you believe in something, go for it, you know, and don't tell anybody about what you're doing, because, you know, there is a dark force out there. There could be people out in the world that say, I am a Christian, but they don't have any faith. There's a lot of pretenders out there pretending that I'm a believer in Christ. I am a Christian, but they don't have any faith in anything that, you know, what kind of faith do they have anyway? You know, it says faith as a mustard seed. It's so tiny and so small, but it takes time to build faith. It doesn't happen overnight. And just like doing I am affirmations, repeating things over and over again and believing in, you know, feeling them, you know, believing that you can do whatever you want. And so is that we need each other. And, you know, they've been trying to divide us and they've been working on this, but we need to come back together, you know. Imagine like in the United States that instead of like one state, they're all for themselves, that they reach out to other, you know, towns, you know, reach out to all the different towns, connect with those towns in that state, you know, build up a strong state. And then, I'm sorry, I got this fly out here landing on me. So, you know, that could spread out through the whole United States. That way, guess what? When shit hits the fan, everybody is working together already. They already have the resources and everything. They all have, you know, all of us have something to give each other out in the world, and not just in the United States, but all around the whole world, is that we really need to come together and put our ideals together, put our resources together, because I have traveled all around the United States and I've learned that, you know, every place that I went to, you know, there's some places they really don't know what the heck they're doing, like food pantries or libraries have different ways of doing things. What else was it? Even parks, you know, every kind of thing that's going on in one town, you know, different things. You can learn from other people that are doing the same thing, like a park. You know, I've gone to several parks and learned different things from different parks as far as what they do with garbage cans and how they keep the place cleaned up. All, you know, there's so many things that I've picked up from so many parks, you know, different ways of doing things, and food pantries, you know, different ways of doing things, where some food pantries, they don't, you know, they've been doing it forever, the same stuff, repeating the same stuff, and it's a mess. You know, not too long ago, I was so grateful to go to the food pantry, but I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I was so grateful to go there. It took an hour, you know, by the time you get in and get out to get the food. But I was so blown away. Why are they doing it like this? This is, you know, this is so weird. And what they had like two rows of folding chairs. And I can't believe we were doing this, you know. I felt like we were playing musical chairs. It just made no sense. The best thing that they could have done is to, when you first, you know, like have a piece of paper, and when people come in, they sign their name, and they just sign their names. And all they got to do is call your name, you know, and you don't even have to have the last name, just their first name, and call them. And, you know, everybody could sit down on the chairs and wait for their name to get called. That way everybody's getting, you know, called at the right order. But what they had, which was crazy, you got people that are elderly folks that are there, people that have handicaps, disabilities and different things like that, age, their bodies are doing different things. They have a hard time getting up. And what they were doing is that everybody was seated, and then the first person that was in the first row, they said, come up, so they would get up. And so what everybody had to do is scoot over a chair. So every time that somebody got called to, do the stuff on the computer to get their information and put it on the computer, is then when the next person got called up and they left their chair, we all had to scoot over another chair. And it just scoot over another chair and scoot over another chair, scoot over another chair, scoot over another chair, scoot over another. It was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. How long have they been doing this? That is why we all need each other, so that crazy stuff doesn't happen. There's no reason why people got to, scoot up and go over, scoop up, It just looks stupid, And I was grateful for the food. Everybody was sweet. But there's no reason to do that. Those people were having a hard time. They would get so comfortable in their seat, but then they had to get back up and scoot over to another seat, So there's so many things that we can help each other with out in each community. Why are we divided? Why do we have to do the way things are? And I just mentioned something today, a quick thing, a total stranger. Oh, that's never going to happen, because this is a democratic, the Democrats are running the world or whatever. And, it's like, people can make a change. We can make a difference, but you got to believe in whatever it is that you really see that would really work. And that would be amazing, to get just like the state of New York, for all the communities to get involved with each other and, pass their information around and say, hey, this is how we do things. And they don't have to copy each other, but say, you know what, I like what you're doing. Even libraries, I've seen some crazy ass shit in libraries and I'm like, why are they doing it like this? They're just stuck doing things. They did it the whole time, and like I mentioned the other day about even my boss, where he got really offended by somebody giving a great ideals, which Starlight came up with, because I worked for several companies. One of my ideals was for cleaning companies, instead of using the same freaking color rag, to clean all the stuff in a house or in a company. Like imagine all your rags are blue, right? So every rag is blue. So why can't we have color coded, rags? So say because you clean mirrors, that could be a blue rag, mirrors, because the spray is blue. A yellow rag or a green rag would be great for cleaning the toilets because urine is yellow. And then, have another color. You could say orange or whatever, not orange, but some other kind of color, purple or whatever, a red color rag, other color. And that could be for dusting, So it made a whole lot of sense, because what happens with cleaners, if they have a whole bunch of, we'll say a dark blue rag, the whole pile is dark blue rag. So what happens with cleaners is that you'll be wiping the mirror, with a blue rag, and then you put it down somewhere, and now you got to clean the toilet, and then you get rags mixed up. Before you know it, you're grabbing the rag that was cleaned for the toilet, and now you're wiping the mirror off, or you're wiping the countertop off in the bathroom, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to. So Starlight I come up with really good solutions for things, that work, and but there's people, they get too prideful. They don't want to take your input because it makes them look stupid that they were using the same color rag, for everything to clean, because it does happen. You can get mixed up with, oh my, what rag? There's three rags, and I kind of accidentally put them at the same area. Now I don't know which one is for the toilet. Oh, so now I'm gonna eeny meeny miny mo, which rag? You don't want to waste a whole lot of rags, So now you're going to take this chance of taking a rag and wiping up the countertop. Like, yeah, we're just going to I just got done wiping the freaking base of the toilet, and the rim of the toilet. And now I'm going to take that same that blue rag and wipe the countertop. Yeah, I sprayed it up with stuff, Yeah, it's clean. No, you just, so there's so many things that we could change and help out and add positivity out in the community, add like positive statements all around, in the community, all over, billboards, there's so many things that we could do to help this world out, to make it a better and brighter place, a happier place for so many people. There's so many things. I could go on and on of all the things that we can do in the world to put positivity in. Like even a lot of people think COVID was a horrible thing. I thought it was a great thing. But, because people were cleaning, they were cleaning, things were getting clean. Now things are dirty and disgusting, it's like, what is that? I actually clean bathrooms when I go in there. They got the cleanest supply up there. I'm grabbing that thing and I'm spraying the heck out of it and I'm cleaning it up. What happened? I wish we could go back to that time of having everything clean, because it's bringing clean, it's getting rid of all the dirty energy out in those communities. We need that back. We really do. We need to get back to the COVID thing and clean things up, because then you're going to get better energy coming in, and doesn't it feel great when a place is clean? Because I used to clean. It does. It feels wonderful. I even just did my whole back end of my car because water leaked in the back of my car, and I was smelling the smell. I was like, what the blank is this smell? But water spilled and it went down to the bottom where my tire is, and wow, I was like, it took hours to clean that up, but that was before the 8/8 portal day. So I was glad I was able to do that to invite new energy and make more space, organize my whole back end of my car. So now I feel wonderful. Now I got 2 other parts of my car to clean up. So we can make big, huge changes in the world, but we gotta be, think about what can we do. These are easy, simple little these are easy things. We could even get the kids involved in these things. There's so many things that we can do together as a community. It's really a good time to get the community together, and there's so many things out in the community that need some help. And this is a great time to get the communities together to be, part of a family instead of being afraid of everybody, because fear is what's going to really mess you up, and that is what you want to let go of. You want to be positive as much as possible, and that's why you want to really surround yourself with people that are positive energy, not of low vibrational energies. So anyway, I love you so much. You could take any of these ideals and use them for yourself. Really, if you got something going on and you want to be a change in the world and you want to see a difference, think of the ways that you can actually help the community and figure out a way of reaching out to the community so you can get other people involved into that, because there's a lot of lonely people. They do want to get with the community, but not everybody does. We need to get more people involved and reach out to people, even homeless people. I love you so much. This is Starlight and Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.